Good morning. Sneak peeks are here for the February update. Kinda. Trample Damage joining us to go over everything we think we're allowed to tell you about the update. Who knows? Let's go through the sneak peeks one by one. Let these fun people know what to expect or not to expect when the update drops. We got stuff to give away. Sam and Liam are here. I'm Rick. This is Red Talks Clash.
What are we calling this? Is this a podcast?
Red Clash.
Trample Damage, one of my favorite guests, favorite friends, favorite Clash friend. How you doing, man?
Good-ish. I'm still recovering from my car flipping over on the freeway 2 weeks ago, but aside from that, it's been busy.
I still need to see your dash cam footage of the accident.
Oh shoot, you know what? I never actually got the thing set up, so I don't know. And the car is at the impound yard or whatever where it is right now. I'd have to go and see if
Did we lose him?
I can try and
Hey,
This isn't me, right?
No,
Sounds
it's
like his
like-
Wi-Fi's
okay.
choppy.
yeah. Are you walking around your house? Because you might have hit a dead zone.
Or is he driving and he's just gone gone over
Yeah.
again?
Like, how'd you flip your car again? we do know he records in his car.
I was trying to
So-
be a guest on Reddit Talks Clash, and
Oh,
then
he's back.
and then everything went poorly. So, like, what did you?
There you go.
When
You
did I
are-
cut out?
After the impound.
Something about an
Yeah,
SD
no.
card.
Okay. Well, anyway, I don't know. At some point, I'll try and get the footage back.
That's pretty convenient for someone who's claiming to not be at fault in the accident.
Yes. Well, the nice thing is, apparently, according to the state trooper who was investigating the scene, it was very clear that I was forced from my lane because of the tire marks on the road. I'm not sure what school they went to for that, but I agree with his assessment.
Let's get into Clash today. Sneak peek number 3. What can we say? Not a lot. We can say the name is the Dragon Duke. It's going to come at Town Hall 15. It's coming with 3 common equipment, and there's going to be an event to release him starting sometime in the near future. That covers it for Sneak Peek 3.
Yeah, no joke.
They may as well have just not said anything and let people be like excited when suddenly a new hero event appeared. Like, I don't even know what the point of just telling us nothing is.
It's very anti-hype, it feels like. I can get the intention, okay? Like I get like, hey, the lead up to the Town Hall 18 release, right? Was we all had a community event to, like build some lore. They built the meteor catcher, and then that led up to the update of Town Hall 18. Like, this is structured kind of similarly, but extra dumb, because we are the event should have been in progress and ending with the update. I think that would have made more sense. Everything's going to leak. Like it always does. So I don't get why we are pretending that, like people are, anyone who wants to know the details is going to be able to go find them easily. It's going to be thrown in your face. Like we'll remove leaks on Reddit like we have to do now.
We've been testing this, some of us have been testing this for a while, and we knew that it was going to be coming, and we all thought it was going to be bundled together with everything else to go all in one package, as opposed to something that was perhaps going to have some kind of delay or gap. And so that's something that we sort of had to pivot on in terms of our thinking about how we were going to talk about what was coming and talk about the sneak peeks, which, is its own separate ball of wax. But I would have rather that we had more of a gap between whatever we're talking about now and whatever we can't really effectively talk about, because it's just like a tease type of thing. It just feels that bundling that type of inability to discuss the details of something with other legitimate sneak peeks about stuff that's coming, it really confused a lot of the creators.
Yeah, confusing. I think is putting it lightly.
The number of people that were expressing in the creator program, the number of creators that were like, wait, I show this about that? Can I show this? There was just, it was definitely different than any of the other sneak peeks I've seen ever since I've been in the creator program.
I don't want to fault them for taking a swing and trying to change things up. All the problems with this one feel very, very predictable. Hopefully they take some lessons away from this and can continue to improve the sneak peek process. But why don't we try and focus on what we can talk about them, about the hero? So, like, we have tested it, we have used it, we've used all the equipment. We can't tell you what that equipment does. We can quote speculate, which is again weird. I guess with being as vague as we need to be, do you think it's a good hero? Is it a good addition to the game, Trample?
I do like it. I worried initially when I saw that we were going to have another hero that appears to be capable of flight, that we would make a perhaps crushingly strong air meta that would be very difficult for people to do ground attacks in. But I feel like after having had an opportunity to play with it and tinker with it, it is not something that I feel like is overwhelmingly exciting. It's not necessarily like the new cool fancy thing. Like I think about when the Grand Warden first came out, I was like, oh my gosh, this dude protects your entire army. Right? I don't know that I necessarily have that same kind of feeling, but I do like the idea that I can have an army that is almost entirely air if I have a Dragon Duke and a Minion Prince and a Flying Grand Warden. I then only have one ground hero, and I know we'll talk about the Raven coming up, but then we've got also the opportunity for, a full complement of flying pets as well, to where the only ground troop would be either the Barbarian King, the Archer Queen, or the Royal Champion, whichever is the last hero you'd use on offense. So I do like it, and it doesn't feel overwhelmingly powerful and broken. So that's a good thing.
Without being able to explain why, do you think it'll be a good defense hero?
I don't love the idea that we have another flying hero on defense, and it's one of the things that I continued harping on throughout the entire testing process was, when we made the balance for the Minion Prince not that long ago, where we took some of his hit points off of defense and put them into the equipment, I spent a lot of time just talking about that specific notion where having a flying hero that has either too much DPS or too many hit points is going to be something that really makes it difficult for a ground army to put themselves together. So without giving away any of the specialties or stats or strengths or benefits of the Dragon Duke, I do think that it is problematic if we have another flying hero on defense that has either far too many hit points or far too much DPS. So as long as that part comes out with decent balanced stats, then I feel like you're having to swap either the massive tanky ground Barbarian King, which people have often referred to as the greatest air defense in the game, or you're giving up an already high DPS unit in the Archer Queen or the Royal Champion. So I think it can be done well, but it is something that I talked about a lot through the development process.
Sam, you obviously don't know anything about it, so what are your thoughts so far on what you've seen? The grayed out icons or whatever.
I mean, it's pretty hard to get anything from it. I guess I'm just thinking about the implications of another air hero, kind of like what Trample was saying. On defense, it's going to be a pain. I already hate dealing with the Minion Prince sometimes. It's another obstacle to work around. Obviously we've got the icons for the 3 new equipment. We can see it's some sort of fire heart thing, some sort of shockwave blaster maybe, a torch of some sorts. But I don't know what that does. Great, it looks cool, but I just think it's really odd how they've drip fed us all the useless information, so we can't actually get excited about anything because who cares? I think the interesting thing mainly to me is the fact that they're releasing a hero not in conjunction with a new town hall. Obviously, the Dragon Duke will come out for Town Hall 15 and beyond, but it's the first time a new hero has come without a new Town Hall. So I wonder if that's a sign of intention. They're going to keep pumping out more heroes and more updates in the near future. But yeah, that's the only interesting thing at the moment.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried. I mean, kind of similar to what Simon Trample was saying about, because before, in my classic Hydra attack, I'm kind of focusing on the 3 big things, which is the Monolith, the Minion Prince, and the Vivan. And I feel like now adding a fourth air defensive hero is a new thing, and so now it'll be like you can have all full base with one of these kind of defenses, and so it'll be like there's no side which is better to attack, so it'll make attacking hopefully harder, which I guess is the intention, right? But yeah, that's my feeling about it.
I do think it's going to be like a universal ad on defense, just because of what Trample's saying. You know, like ground attacking units can't touch it. That's the biggest advantage of the minion prints. You know, like we're going to see it, but you're also sacrificing another hero. It feels like a fair trade off. A lot of stuff's getting levels. We're going to talk about the truth levels here in a minute. Releasing with 3 commons is there's good and bad, because it's a lot of ore requirement to drop on people. You obviously only need to focus on 2, or you don't have to focus on any of them at all, especially if you're pre-Town 15. But even for us, it gives you a choice. I would say the equipment, the ways you can combine them, provide different attacking style options, and that's nice. I haven't been like overwhelmed using it. I like him. I think it's a good hero. Throughout a lot of the testing, I was just kind of asking myself, like, oh, this is fine, but why do we need it? And it was Clash Ninja kind of changed my mind on some of it. Like once you all see what the equipment are, I think it makes a little more sense. Like if you contextualize him as a viable replacement for while you are upgrading other heroes, like it makes a lot more sense. So he doesn't have to be totally unique, but he is going to fit into a lot of different existing, attack archetypes.
I have to say, Supercell forcing to talk in riddles for about 10 minutes has been very entertaining.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm sure we'll get a lot of questions about it. Is there anything else you want to hammer on with the Duke before we move on?
No, I just
Okay.
am terrified that I'm accidentally going to wind up saying something. I will say that going through the testing process on the different pieces of equipment, because we, had an opportunity to test a bunch of different stuff, and some of which will not wind up making it into the game at this point. It was interesting to see just the sort of brainstorming process that the team goes through, and they're like, hey, what if we did this? What if we tried this? What if we tried that? That part, I think, was just a lot of fun through the testing, which, even post the Duke releasing, we still won't be able to talk about, because it could potentially be something that they tool up as a piece of equipment for another hero in the future. But overall, I am just very excited, and I'll be much more excited when I can talk about it without wondering if I'm going to violate my NDA.
Which makes it even more frustrating too, because like anyone listening to this, is this even valuable to hear us like not tell you anything? I don't, I don't know, and
the
especially
sound of our voices, Vic.
especially considering the 100% chance that everything's gonna leak, but before any creators can talk about it, is there any point to this? I don't get it.
Let's just move on.
Yeah, but sneak peek number 1 did actually have new fun info for us. We get troop levels, spell levels, a siege level, a new pet. Yeah, let's start with the pet. If you have super excess hero books, are you going to spend any on the greedy Raven?
I'm not.
No.
I would.
I
No,
have
of
just
course
been,
not.
it cleans up so fast. Like if it winds up getting a hold of storages, like it takes storages down like nothing. I think about the old bat attacks, like when we were doing the Royal Ghost and a bunch of bats to clean up, and how the bats deal reduced damage to storages, and you see this entire swarm of bats going out of storage forever before it would take it down. The Greedy Raven just deletes all of those things very, very quickly. So it is cool. It's kind of a nice niche little thing. It's nice to have a pet that's going to be able to do something immediately, unlike the Phoenix, where you can put another flying pet on a hero. The jelly is not exactly the most exciting thing when the hero first hits the ground. The Phoenix is not that exciting when it hits the ground. So it will be nice to see something that deals some extra damage, but it doesn't feel overpowered in a way that makes me think, oh my gosh, I need to get this thing maxed day 1. And I'm probably not going to use it unless I am going the direction of I want an army that is as air as possible.
Like, what kind of use cases are you imagining for the Raven?
Realistically, the things I see as a potential better when you're trying to start a funnel early on, and this is the challenge, is like a giant, a couple of air traps or an air defense a little bit too close to a corner you want to funnel more quickly, If you were starting with a king funnel, the Raven can actually help get rid of some of the larger buildings, the storages. If you've got a bunch of storages near wherever he's going to start his funnel, that can be very effective. Or the Archer Queen, if you are going to wind up having Sneezy on the Warden for your attack, having the Raven with the Archer Queen to be able to help again in an area where there's a bunch of storages located in one spot on the outside and you want to move through it more quickly. Not that Queen Charge is coming back anytime soon, but sometimes some corners you might want to come in on, and there's a bunch of just high hit point stuff over there, like gold storages, dark elixir storages, and it can help with that. But otherwise, I think of it in a lot of ways the same way you just described Ninja, having talked about the Dragon Duke as a perfectly reasonable substitute while other stuff is upgrading for an air army. But again, that's why I'm not going to be prioritizing it as my number one pet.
It is pretty nice. Like I immediately went straight to like Warden walks. I tried Queen Charges and like it does help you burn through storages and high HP buildings faster. The problem that I always encountered with it is as soon as you're through a corner of the base, like the Raven tends to seek out those storage buildings and it gets away and then it dies. So it feels like if you have a war attack where you find a particularly storage heavy corner that you want to fireball or warden walk into, like it's probably situational there. I don't know that it makes sense through the whole attack because you still have Sneezy. Sneezy is going to help damage, going to live through the whole attack and continually provide boogers, where the Raven isn't. Like I can never get the Raven to live. Not a single time. So you're trading off like a faster fireball or faster warden walk in the corner for losing a pet. And Sneezy on the back end, if your Sneezy's alive, Sneezy, like, it clutches 3 stars for me all the time. So I don't know. I was hoping that it would be like a farming specific hero and help you get more loot or something maybe. But it's just feels kind of meh right now, but I think we'll have to wait and see. The other big change from Sneak Peek 1 is spell towers finally get an upgrade. We are getting earthquake spells. How do you feel about the earthquake spell tower?
I'm excited about it. I ended up posting something on Reddit yesterday because I saw some confusion over how it works. I think one of the comments, like I'm praising myself. One particularly insightful comment that I made in a reply to somebody is, I like when the spell tower, I think, is probably my favorite defense in the game just because I love the variability. It makes it to where you really think about what you're doing with the attacks, and it keeps that strategy edge even when the game is in a state where it's a little bit easier. I love having to think about what I'm doing with my attacks. And I like that all of the spell tower settings have good use cases and good useless cases. Because if I'm setting this with the Earthquake spell tower, of course, that's going to punish a clump of throwers, or it's going to punish a clump of any high hit point troops. It's going to hurt meteor golems. It's going to really take a ton of damage off of your heroes. But at the same time, if I have an earthquake spell tower against an air army, it does nothing really, because there's 1 or 2 ground heroes that it can potentially target, and that's not really that effective. But it's like the same thing as an invisibility spell tower near the town hall in the core. When you're starting an attack with a giant arrow and then getting into the core, it basically makes the invisibility spell tower useless. So there are cases where I think it's gonna, and I've seen it provide a massive punch. Poison, I get the comparison between the poison and the earthquake because they're both essentially dealing direct damage to the troops. But the poison spell tower can be overcome with the heal spell because you're just sort of moving your troops through there slowly, and it's just offsetting the poison as it's going. The earthquake spell tower, on the other hand, literally will just hit and immediately delete 30% of the hit points on a troop. It's hard to heal through, it's hard to salvage, and I like the use case. I think it's a nice addition to the gauntlet of stuff that the spell towers can throw at us.
It kind of feels like it's something I'm almost never going to use in war because, like, especially double. Like, you double them up on a war base, it just losing the effectiveness of rage towers or poisons or even invis against an air army, especially once we get a new air hero. It just, if you see a double quake base, you just, okay, cool, this is an air hit. And even if I don't feel like I'm a strong air attacker, someone else in our clan will be. So Legends, I think, is where it gets more interesting, depending on what people are using. Like a double Quake base could be kind of like a Gambit that you might run in Legends. Like they are very punishing. You're gonna take, I think, was it 30% each, right?
Yep, 30%.
Yeah. So like a double Quake base, you're gonna lose up to 60% of the HP of
No.
stuff.
It works the exact same way as the offensive earthquake spell. And the video that
I tested this last night. Like I went and like I
go watch the video the thing I posted on Reddit. It has an ice golem getting hit by 5 earthquake spells, 5 earthquake spell towers, and you can see on the last one it barely does anything to it at all.
well, okay, I only tested 2, but I like so what I did. Well, here we'll figure this out. Like you do, I did. I had 2 earthquake spell towers hit my king at the same time. You can turn on like to see the stat damage. So like my king dropped to 9600 whatever it was health, and then I spaced him out and had 2 earthquake spells hit him separately, and it was the same. So but you're saying the second one does reduce damage no matter when it hits.
Yes.
Weird. Okay.
Let's circle back on that one and see what you were doing
Yeah.
to test, because I went through and had, like, by the time a 5th one hit the ice golem, you could still see it still had half its just barely under half its hit points.
Okay, yeah, I was only testing simultaneous for spread out, I guess. But if they are reduced, I guess that I'd set up a dumb test. Huh. Okay. Well.
Yeah, I just don't see the use case for them, to be honest.
It is punching. It's very punching, like on ground troops. Like if you're coming in with, like if you hit one early where you still have all your healers or druids alive, you're gonna recover, or you tome through them. It's fine. But you find one on the back end when your stuff is already a little weaker. Like it does 30% of the max HP. It's not like 30% of whatever remains. It's 30% of the max. So it'll if you have 25% left on whatever, it's dead.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm guessing you more or less can't even heal through it. I mean, I assume they'll just be dead too quickly, essentially.
Yeah, you can, if you have, I had tested having healers on there, and it does sort of like slowly bleed the damage down the same way you see the earthquake spell. When you drop it on a wall or a building, you can see the hit points just start receding. It has a similar sort of like pulse amount of damage that it's doing, but if you're anywhere below probably 25% of your health, it'll take you down faster than a healing effect would be able to overcome it.
Oh, here's a question that I didn't test. If you have a rage tower go off first, and then under the rage tower, does the earthquake do additional damage?
That would be interesting to test. My gut tells me no, but
No, because surely it doesn't do that for a poison. Surely it doesn't do that for a poison tower either.
Yeah, but you never know.
Yeah, does it? Like, is this a mechanic I've just never paid attention to?
You're making me question it now.
Yeah, like how many weeks have we had this to figure this stuff out?
Well, me a day or so.
Yeah,
You guys, you tell me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, I guess, yeah, we'd always like put a silence in and just be, and I'll edit in later, but like, yes, it does, or no, it doesn't. Okay, just tested it. Rage Tower does not affect the damage that the Earthquake Tower does. Troop levels. We get Archer, Baby Drag, Titan, Hogs, Witch Hound, Slammer. Of course, Super, the Super Troops of all those got the level. What
Super Witches finally back?
Super Witches, I think, could be, dude. Like regular witches even too. Like because remember when the balance changes happened, and like Itsu was trying to make a point like that it wasn't just throwers, it was everything working together. He was spamming normal witches and still tripling stuff in Legends mode. And like it's not just the witches got an upgrade, like apparently the skeletons get an upgrade on this too. So like the individual skeletons under a life gem, like 30% off of a skeleton is nothing for the Earthquake Tower. So maybe that's another counter to it. But Trample, of the troop levels, what are you putting like upgrade priority on?
I have been messing with hog riders in the dev build since I first saw that we had the opportunity coming, and I started playing in the live game using hog riders, and it's been bit of a struggle using super hogs, but it is definitely something that is very, very viable with the new level. I've been doing okay in Electro 33 right now using a super hog army, and I am really looking forward to the new level because it is a pretty massive boost that they're going to wind up getting. So definitely Hog Riders is going to be my number one. My number two is going to be a toss up between the Electro Titan and the Archer because the Super Archer level is pretty solid, and I think there's going to be a lot of fun options to use the Super Archers. So for me, it's going to go Hog Rider number one, and then either the Titan or the Archer, and then the whichever one of those I don't do, then the Witch. And I'm not really that excited about the Baby Dragon level because I'm not using Inferno babies, and I'm not using a Baby Dragon as anything other than a quick funneling troop anyway, and the current level suffices for a quick funnel. But I am definitely excited about the new Hog Rider level and the new Titan level and the new Archer level.
So, like when you say you're excited for super archers, are you thinking super archer blimps, or are you? Because I know like over the last couple of years, I'd see you dabbling in using super archers as part of your main army as well. So, like, which one are you thinking, or both, or what?
Main army. I've tried super archer blimps, when they first told us we were going to balance the hit points and stuff on the super archers and the super wizards. I actually ended up liking those buffs more for them in the main army, which it's funny because around the time Itsu had put out that video about using a whole bunch of different troops, I was doing a super giant super wizard spam that was basically doing the exact same thing that mass throwers do right now, only, I was doing it more as like a cavalry charge instead of one giant clump of throwers in the corner. But the extra level on the archer to use in my primary army in conjunction with either golems in front of, because I have an attack I use right now where I use golems, electro titans, bowlers, and yetis. And if I wind up putting one less yeti and remove the bowlers and one of the golems for super archers, it's really, really effective because their range is just awesome.
So personally, I'm most excited, I think, for Titans right now. Titans are what I played with the most in the dev build. Like recently in the live game, I've been doing a lot of Super Yeti attacks with the torch, and those are really fun and really strong. Where that struggles was when you find like a minion prince, because the Super Yetis just do nothing against him, and adding a second air hero, that attack's going to suffer. But Titans don't have that same problem, so you get a lot of the same value from Super Yetis that you can use them in a very similar way that you can to with Titans. The Titan new level, I think Titan and Torch might be one of the things that really gets popular. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm excited about. I'm gonna book Titans. I'm gonna book Hogs. I tried. I've been trying to make Super Hogs work. I've never been a very solid Super Hog attacker. There was a window in like Town Hall 15, I think, when we're all doing that one attack you picked up from, I forget what his name was, but where you do like the log launcher hero dive and then super hogs to circle around. That was I haven't been able to make super hogs work at 16 or 17, but I see a lot of other creators saying super hogs might be back, so I'm probably gonna book Titans in those and then go from there. If you're a lot of our clan does use Inferno Drags mixed into their air attacks. The level of those, like, I don't know how much of a difference it's gonna make, but it's not gonna hurt. Hound I don't care about. Slammer I don't care about. Archer I mostly don't care about. Super Witch is the weird one. I think Super Witch could be it too. Like especially with the way bases are getting back to being a little more vulnerable for Fireball right now. There's a lot of good options. You gotta learn Fireball and Super Witches, dude, because you just skip that entire menu.
I know. It's when I saw you guys doing all the, especially back when the Druids were super popular and you guys were just wrecking bases. I think you had like a couple months of Perfect Clan War Leagues in a row. And I was like, I really got to get around to trying this. And then, when they had us testing the Druid nerf in the dev build, I was like, man, I don't know. I saw with fireballs. Like I said, my feedback isn't really all that valuable on this one, but I definitely need to get around to it. Which actually, I I did in War the other day. I used 4 different army compositions between my 4 different my 4 Town Hall 18s, and if I get a little bit more versatility in there, like Fireball, I think would definitely make me a more well-rounded attacker.
Sam, was there anything of the troops that you felt like excited for?
Personally, Hogs, because I did really like using Super Hogs around, Town 14, 15 time. I think the problem is I use them a lot with the Queen Charge, and the Queen Charge is basically as good as dead these days. But I think it will give us a decent diversity. I agree with Titans. Titans could be quite interesting to have another smash attack. I think again though, I feel like half the time we always speculate on these troop changes, but none of us really know. And then half things flop, and then half things some creator finds an insane broken strategy, and everyone runs that for the next 2 months. So I'll wait and
It's
find the broken strategy.
like it. I mean, it's a lot of ground stuff. Like obviously baby drags, but
Which
like all the rest are ground upgrades, and we got a
Which
big.
is actually really interesting because obviously the new hero is an air hero, and the earthquake spells, basically only affects ground troops. So arguably we had a massive air buff this update, but then maybe these levels can help ground a bit. Though saying that, though the earthquake spell tower and the new hero, probably a new ground level isn't going to help dealing with them, but we'll see.
One last thing on the Titan, which I think is an important thing to mention, is we always talk about this game being a game of inches and these small percentages on things, like which we'll talk about the thrower buff that is going to be reverted in hit points and DPS. The Electro Titans are getting in their DPS, they're getting an extra 30 DPS. They're going to go from 240 to 270, so it's more than a 10% increase, and their aura damage is going to go from 137 to 150, so a 13 damage per second increase, which is just shy of 10%. So just shy of 10% more on the aura and more than 10% increase on the DPS is going to be a lot more power that those Titans are going to be bringing in. And while the hit point increase is not quite as high in percentage terms, it is still 500 more hit points, which is definitely nothing to scoff at. So I would not be surprised if we wind up seeing on the pro side, you think about some of the attacks that came out of nowhere in the 2024 World Championships with the Electro Titan led, and I don't know, King with Earthquake boots in the core, but it was like a couple of Electro Titans with Root Riders. And I think seeing armies where people are very strategic about setting up a nice funnel and then bringing a couple of Electro Titans as the primary push for that army on a more skilled attack, I would not be surprised. Yeah, I hit mute. I wouldn't be surprised to see that become something that is a very, very powerful attack.
I mean, I wonder if the E-Titan is going to be the new kind of thrower, overly powered kind of troop. But what I was going to say about what's got me most excited is really the Lava Loon. The Lava Hound. Because every time I see a new level or some kind of improvement to them, I was wondering like, oh my God, is this the time that basically Lava Loon?
Lalo?
Basically, yeah, Lalo is coming back on Arc Leg. Is this going to be the comeback of that strategy or not? So that's what got me excited.
Liam, were you a Lalo player?
No, I wasn't initially, but then it was kind of like Trample's thing where he said like, yeah, I should learn the Fireball eventually, and I'm like, oh, I should learn Lalo eventually. And then as soon as I kind of started learning it, they nerfed it, and it was like then no longer used by most players, and so now I feel like it's never coming back. But every time I see a small update, I'm like, maybe there's still hope.
I wish Lalo would come back.
Like, and then you just go back 3-4 years and listen to us to be like, we're tired of Lalo. Come on.
Lalo's boring. Yeah, oh my gosh, all the pro attacks.
I know. Yeah, like man, like when you guys brought up Queen Charges too, like man, if they could find a way to get Queen Charges back in the meta, I'd be so excited. But all right,
we just complain about whatever,
Yeah, I know.
About.
Keep dreaming.
Yeah, this is why you can't listen to players too much, dude. We don't know what we want long term. Like we just wanted a break. We didn't want to go on. We wanted a break. But we are getting 2 new spell levels as well. Revive. Does anyone care?
No.
Yes, I like it.
And the Earthquake spell is changing. And to be honest, I did not play with this at all because like we saw it a while ago, and I was like, why are there so many levels of earthquake? And why are they doing troop damage? And I was like, oh, because yeah, like I wrote it off completely because I'm like, oh, there's probably like the way things are programmed, they're probably testing different variations of like damage for the earthquake tower, and it's probably easier just to like put new spells in temporarily, and I completely ignored it for the longest time. And then when I finally saw the patch notes, like recently, I was like, oh wait, this is real. so I have not played with earthquakes doing troop damage. Like Trample, like educate me. Like, is it useful?
Yes.
Like okay.
So it's not something that we are necessarily going to wind up feeling like it's something that people are going to start doing in a different way than they were doing before. You've seen me do this a lot over the years where I use 8 earthquake spells in an army to just open the base wide. The poison or the earthquake damage to the ground heroes, the earthquake damage goes up to 14%. So it's effectively going to get, I want to say, after adding everything up, it gets somewhere close to around like 28-ish%, 20, what is it, 20, 24, 25, I say 25% of the total hit points of a hero if they get caught in that 4 earthquake drop, because one earthquake spell will take 14% of their hit points off. So one of the things that I sometimes run into if I'm entering a base after using one of those 8 earthquake army compositions, if I'm coming in on a side where there are a bunch of heroes, it's problematic for me. But to be able to start that attack with each of the heroes missing almost 25% of their hit points, it actually does make a pretty big deal. It's not the kind of thing that I think the average player is going to say to themselves, oh yeah, I'm going to upgrade my earthquake spell a whole bunch just so that I can now deal some damage with one earthquake spell to a barbarian king. But if you have bases that have the royal champion, the queen, the king, all in a similar area near the town hall, and you're coming in on that side of the base, it's a lot of extra damage that you will wind up being able to pick up that has to be dealt eventually. I just think it's a very subtle thing that most people aren't going to see a lot of tangible benefit from, but it is a very powerful effect.
Can I just add that as well? If you're using a fireball, then you can, I think, potentially kill the enemy hero if you're using a fireball in conjunction with an earthquake, which is extremely handy.
Yeah, it's a nice little buff for fireballs and zapquakes too, if you can catch a hero there too. So it doesn't feel game changing. Like I'm never gonna plan on quaking CC troops. So it does feel like I'm sure some people do because like you can do the giant arrow log launcher into the CC troop kind of thing. Like it in the quake weaken walls and maybe catch some of the troops. You're still gonna want to poison those, and it feels like a subtle thing that like I still really kind of think that like the reason we even get it is just it's probably easier to program like all that to make the earthquake spell work out of the tower. Like this makes it easier to just make all the quake uniform across the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's ever a scenario where you'd really want it over a poison spell just in terms of taking out CC troops. I mean, ultimately a poison will just do a better job, but it is a nice to have, isn't it? And it kind of it logically makes sense. So
All right.
I think it's just nice.
All right. So sneak peek 2, which everyone thought was the most disappointing sneak peek ever. A record that was quickly broken today, but a whole lot of stuff. Balance changes, quality of life stuff. I know Trample. I know you feel really strongly about the anti-spam change.
I'm really annoyed. For years, even before we had the ability to have clash anytime and unlimited armies, I would always have, my 2 armies trained. I'd come on the game, I'd make an attack, and I just was talking about these 8 earthquake spam armies. I would just open a base up, dump a good solid composition of troops, early rage spell, use all the hero abilities, and basically just close the app, open it back up. It was a good farming strategy, and it was also not a bad trophy climbing strategy because when properly applied, it can be something that triples even with all of your stuff being done in the first few seconds. So I understand when we launched Clash Clash Anytime, that we weren't going to be able to just spam and close repeatedly and jump up into the highest trophy counts and push to Legend League in 20 minutes or anything like that. But I like that they left it in ranked mode where we could close the app and go back in and it would have already finished processing. And I know I've heard a lot of people like, why would you do that in Legend League? You're stupid, you're trash, whatever. Because I've had a few people I've complained about the notion of being held up on this. And it is something that I looked at an attack last night that I made before I went to bed, and I had 2 archers that were working on a gold storage, and it was like, okay, do I sit here and wait another 30 or 40 seconds until they finish destroying this gold storage, or do I just close the app and it's done processing? Well, now I'm actually going to have to give up a few percentage points of destruction on a base if I want to be able to close it out, because then I have to actually end the attack. And with us having a limited number of ranked attacks, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm still lobbying against it. I'm still trying to get them to, revert that change, because they originally were going to do that with clan capital as well, and said, oh, actually, it really doesn't make a sense because you're already limited in the number of attacks you can make anyway. But it is, for me, because of the way that I have played and engaged with the game so thoroughly over the years, it's a big takeaway to me, and it's something that is really, really annoying to me, especially on a Sunday. Today in ranked mode, I've got a couple of Town Hall 18s I'd like to keep in Electro 33. Haven't made all my attacks. I want to spam a couple of more attacks in that it'll get 70-80% 2 stars just to keep me at a high enough level in that range not to get demoted. It's super annoying to me, and it's small and most people don't care, but this is a big one to me.
Yeah, I agree with you, Trample. I think it's really annoying from a kind of law-abiding players like us. I'm wondering if it's not a change that will help kind of stop these bots or people who are kind of avoiding or kind of cheating the game in a way where they just spam the ranked attacks, get more ore, and farm their accounts up. So it's like a anti-bot measure.
Is it really a
is
problem
my
in
thinking.
rank though? Like, this is my thinking.
Just a guess. I have no idea.
No, I don't disagree. I'm just saying, like, I just don't know what Supercell's seen to justify it.
The feeling I got, and this was nothing that was ever said to us, but the feeling I got was like, it seems like something they would look at as a bug fix, because the way it was implemented was weird. If you force quit out of a Legends hit, you still had the cooldown, but the cooldown was applied to the casual battles, which was weird. So, like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they're just like, oh, hey, this was implemented wrong, and now we're fixing it.
But then shouldn't they do it in capital as well?
No.
Shut up. Edit that out.
It's the inconsistency that bothers me. Like, if you're gonna do something, do it all across the board, not just.
I mean, that was the original plan, was to just have it on
Yeah, I
all
know,
attacks.
and that's why I hated it originally. But
yeah, I think it was just like broken in capital, and they're just like, okay, we won't fix it because people really like it.
That could make sense.
You could also make the argument that just to do devil's advocate, that like ranked mode should be more important. Then it's something that, like, hey, if you don't have the time to do your ranked battles, which the number of ranked battles just came down in a lot of leagues, not a lot, but 2 to 6 or so. Like, if you don't have the time to do ranked battles, then maybe you should be demoting.
That's lame. I'm just gonna say,
well, by that logic, they should do it in clan wars as well, right?
Well, yeah, if you don't have time to attack in clan wars, you should lose the war, probably.
Right.
If you don't have clan mates to cover you, then yeah, that's fair.
For the ability to be able to see, like, we know there are times where there are 14 or 15 buildings that are left to be destroyed, and you have no defenses left on the base, and you've got a couple of heroes and some throwers, or you've got meteor golems and heroes, and there's really nothing that's going to stop them. I like being able to have my time back. And I've had conversations with one of the devs about the possibility of adding an in-game option to like speed through the replay or something. And any option that just lets us maximize the efficiency of our time is something that I value very, very heavily. So this one is just very personally annoying, and I see a few folks in the chat at least saying that they're on the same page as me, so I'm not alone.
All right, we talked about the changes to ranked are kind of okay, who cares? Like, most people have to do less attacks. Promotion demotion rates are changing in a lot of leagues. Did anything really stand out, or is it just kind of like to me, it just feels like more adjusting to the reality of how people engage with the game. Is there anything that stood out to you as significant?
I don't think it's that exciting, is it?
I mean, I meant to go look and see like if the changes might have an effect around the floors for different town halls, but also I don't care.
The only thing is that I feel like is very noticeable is with more people from Electro 33 having a chance to promote into Legend League, I think it brings up some interesting dialogue in conjunction with what has been feedback from the community that, especially among the more skilled player base who wanted Legend League to be more challenging, the nerfs that we saw recently in the form of the modifiers being reduced and making Legend League essentially a little bit easier, it feels to me like getting a higher percentage of people to promote into Legend League is going to wind up inflating the number of people that we see in Legend League, which, if anything, maybe would be an option to introduce what a lot of people have asked for a long time is some additional tiering or cuts within Legend League. Like I know the most common request or thought I've seen people say is above a certain trophy count, it's a new, modifier or something. So I am curious about why we are, if there's a long-term goal to having more people promote into Legend League. Or are we going to see where at the end of each week, if you're below 5,000 trophies instead of 4,900, like what is the demotion from Legend League going to look like? Because I don't remember seeing that addressed anywhere specifically. So that's the one that just, to me, is interesting. It's 5 more people out of every batch 100 that are going to be going into Legend League.
Making an easier path in, but also making it harder to stay. Like you don't have to do your 8 a day to stay in Legends, and yeah, I would like to see more people kicked out, but also like you do that in conjunction with increasing the number of people who can win and promote up into it. So other balance changes, we're looking the throwers change got mostly reverted. They still have faster movement speed, but the rest of the throwers change was reverted. I don't think anyone's too upset about that. Maybe the thrower spammers, but throwers still feel viable to me. Have you played with new throwers?
I don't feel like I notice a difference at all. It's like that attack either goes really well because everything goes where you need it to and overwhelms the base because you got the right setup and the right entry, and you don't need those extra bits of hit points and you don't need that extra DPS, because I want to say they were only around like 4%. And I know it's a game of inches, so every little bit helps. But with the constant healing and with the life gem on them, I think it's still going to be a very viable army, which it's part of why people were frustrated they got a buff in the first place, is they were already pretty solid. So yeah, there are some attacks where you come down to the end and it's a close fought thing and you barely tripled, and with a reversion of the health, it'll be an attack that winds up failing. But generally speaking, I think most people are still going to be happy with their ability to pilot throwers. The biggest difference is going to be in the difference on the totem spell.
Yeah, and I'm just realizing we skipped over all the defenses too, because I was going to bring up they're getting a secondary kind of nerf too, with healers are going to get killed by Seeking Air Mines even under the life gem now, which is going to hurt like at least the big mass thrower spam. So like I don't think 16 throwers in a corner is going to work anymore, but more intentional throwers I think are still fine, like you said. Real quick, circling back, was there anything oh man, okay, like this kind of sucks because there was actually stuff I want to talk about with defense levels. Mortar Inferno, Tesla, Fire Spitter, Gigabomb, Air Mines. Real quick, priority for upgrading that stuff.
I think I'm gonna say I don't know. Like lately, even when Town Hall 18 dropped, like I upgraded all the really, really big defenses first. I'm probably gonna say like Inferno is number one, Spell Tower maybe number one. I don't know that I'm gonna be using the Earthquake and it's only getting an extra 100 hit points on the upgrade, so I'd probably do Inferno first and then the Spell Tower and then the Gigabomb and then probably just those. Like those would be
Yeah,
my primary.
yeah. I mean, I'm doing Air Mines, like surprisingly first, which feels weird to do a trap first. There is something weird to note. Like a lot of people were looking at the stats. It would appear that the Fire Spitter got worse DPS with the upgrade, because you lose the supercharge and then you get stats back with the upgrade to the new level. But we did, we're talking to one of the devs, and they said like no, because there was also in Sneak Peek 2, they're fixing a lot of the ways that stats are displayed. It's not that the Fire Spitter is losing DPS. You're getting it back up to the same DPS, and now it's going to have more HP, but it's going to look like it dropped. But that's only because you have been lied to for the last however long, because the stats were displaying incorrectly. So like they fixed the bug. It looks worse. It's technically a wash, at least on DPS, and you get more HP. But yeah, like I'm gonna do mines and Infernos first, then Fire Spitters. I'm gonna kind of wait and see on the spell towers and see how people are using them, and then mortars I don't care about. But anyway, back to Sneak Peek stuff. The totem got balance changes. The totem got nerfed. 1 tile less range. So like you're a math guy, so I'm sure you know like what percentage of a circle area it's going to cover less now. It doesn't do drop damage, and the warden effects won't affect it. So the totem nerf. How do you feel about the totem nerf?
It's very impactful, but it's less impactful than it used to be. I honestly think the only thing that we really needed to do was remove the damage that it did when it landed, because being able to eliminate the skeletons from the skeleton traps and nobody was intentionally doing this, right? Nobody was seeing the skeletons and dropping a totem spell to take them out. But in the process of troops moving through the base with a lot of these spammier attacks, and we drop a totem spell, having it wipe out the skeletons saves a lot of time for 14 throwers in a clump all trying to destroy one skeleton. Now they will actually have to fight those. So I do notice it slows the attack down a lot, which winds up creating an opportunity for more damage to get through on the units, especially the ones that have moved away from or have broken from the pack of healers. So that is something that's going to wind up, I think, making a pretty big impact. I don't know that the radius necessarily needed to change, although it's still a fairly large radius of the reset and the retargeting. It will just require us to be a little bit more precise with the placement. Still an incredible spell. It's just not going to be as powerful as it was before, and I think it will be healthy for the game.
I've been getting away from using like 11 totem armies anyway, so I don't know that it's going to have a huge effect on me. I've been bringing 3 to 4 in a lot of the different comps I'm using, so you just it still feels fair, just in the sense that like I don't feel like I've needed to pay attention to how I'm using the totems, and I might need to finally figure that out now. But probably the bigger balance change, the one that is already causing a little controversy. Poison is now going to work on the Guardians. Itzy made a big deal about it, and I think he's, I think he's right. But 3 poisons on a long shot just kills it straight away. It takes a decent amount of time, so you're going to have to multitask. But yeah, 3 consecutive poisons, not 3 together, but it takes about 40 seconds to kill a long shot. It just, while it's still sitting there on top of the town hall, you need an additional poison, but 4 can kill the smasher. You can save a little bit of time if you substitute a quake for one of those poisons. I was kind of eyeballing it. It's like, for a long shot, it's like 40 seconds to kill a long shot with 3 poisons. If you want to do it like the lazy way and do it right away, you're gonna save 5-10 seconds by swapping out a quake. Itsu kind of made the plea to change the mechanic to where like he's saying it shouldn't take poison damage before it's really activated and wandering around outside the town hall. How do you feel about that?
I actually hated that he made that suggestion. Like when we were first testing Town Hall 18, it was way harder than it was on release. And I remember complaining like I'm dying here. Like I was practicing one night for probably an hour and a half straight with different armies, and I got maybe 1 triple that entire time. Now at the time the Revenge Tower was dealing probably like 25% more damage than it's dealing right now. Like everything was a lot stronger. And the poison was working on the Guardian at the time, and Itsu was lobbying like, no, it shouldn't be affecting the Guardian. I was like, shut up. What are you saying here? But I'm at the point now to where I do agree with him. I think it is we can use freeze spells on it. We can use totem spells. We have already spell-based options to combat the Guardians. I am on board and comfortable with the fact that today the poison spell does not affect it, and I would not mind if it stayed that way.
I do think Guardians need more counters because dealing with the long shot, especially annoying isolated town hall bases with the long shot, it's not a fun mechanic. It's not. I hate dealing with them. Like, I get why people do it. I run those bases, like because people fail against it. It doesn't feel like a fair challenge a lot of the times. Like it's I don't know. So I do think Guardians need more counters. I agree that like you probably shouldn't be able to delete the town hall in 3 spell space on its own and leave it, just defenseless after that. Like maybe it's something that base design could adapt to. But I don't know. I think it's a really fair compromise what he pointed out, saying like, hey, like change it to where it functions more like the clan castle. You can't pre-poison clan castle troops. It would make sense for that same functionality to be applied to the town hall. Obviously, I think you need to tell what guardian is going to come out of the town hall, so it should still be visible. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's totally fair, and I do hope they address it. Kind of, like timeline wise, I don't know that that they're going to do anything. I haven't seen anything about it, so we might just have a little bit of time being goofy, poisoning guardians to death.
I don't think it would be bad if you drop a poison spell on the town hall and the guardian is still on there. Maybe that would be an alternative way for the guardian to just become activated and then jumps off the town hall and walks away the same way troops would from a poison spell, and then it would potentially allow it. I mean, if it was me from scratch implementing, what I would have done is just made the poison spell slow down the attack speed, because that's the biggest thing is the amount of damage we take. So slowing down the attack speed could effectively be a very strong ability, and maybe it just deals tiny amounts of damage but really just slows it down.
There's a lot of ways you can deal with it. You can give them like the same logic that CC troops have, to where like they will exit a poison spell, if they're not already engaged in something. There's a lot of ways they could do it, but I do think just sitting there breathing in poison for a minute is, probably not the greatest thing to introduce into the game.
I do think there was a bit of a logical inconsistency that poison didn't do anything to guardians, because in my mind they were basically pretty similar to defensive heroes, and obviously you expect and the poison does work on them. But then equally, if you think about, imagine we still had the old town hall weapons, we had, Inferno Artillery or whatever. If you could just use 3 spells to take out the Inferno Artillery, that does seem a bit ridiculous when you think of it that way. So three is probably a bit too high. But you could just kind of balance that with the fact it does take 40 seconds. I mean, that's a lot of an attack time. You've got to at least be managing what you're doing. But yeah, they could tweak it, but I don't think the overall premise of poison working on Guardians is a bad thing.
All right, moving on. The last of the quality of life stuff that's probably worth mentioning here in the podcast. Draws 75% of loot instead of 57% now. So to me, like, it's nice. I'm not going to complain. I do think this is helpful. To me, this kind of feels like throwing in the towel on balance in normal mode wars. Just saying, hey, draws are going to be part of the game from now on. And that I find a little disappointing. But we're all gonna get a little more ore out of it. So, it is what it is. Like, I mean, how do you guys feel about 75% loot for draws?
I think it's a good change.
I just want people to stop complaining that wars are too easy. I don't see anything wrong with the existing structure. We win probably 2/3 of our wars and draw 1/3 of our wars. That to me is just fine relative to, okay, maybe call those draws something that we split 50-50. So instead of it being 2/3 of the wars we win and 1/3 are ties, we would say 1/6 are going to be losses and 5/6 will be wins. We're going to get the same amount of ore, but we're going to have more losses where we go, oh man, we lost that war, and that feels bad. But tying and winning as our normal protocol feels perfectly fine to me. I don't have a problem with it at all. I like that they added the percentage on the ore side, because now I feel like, I don't know. I don't understand personally why it bothers people to have draws so much. It's like you've got another clan out there that's just as skilled as you are, And that seems fine to me. I think about a war we just finished recently where, we're over 110 or 100 and whatever our win streak is, and we were against a clan that had a 180 war win streak. Let's say that the tiebreaker was on time. We were like 4 seconds faster than they were. But that clan was amazing. They cleaned us out. They had only like 4 misses, and 2 of them was a Town Hall 16. And so, like, I actually think they are a better clan than we are. But with the tiebreaker rule that we have right now on speed, like on time, we would have ended up being the winners. And that just feels weird. Like, I think it's fine for everybody to be successful and smash things up. And I still like having 2 attacks in war because every war, there's at least somebody who misses an attack. And the 2 attacks per person makes it to where clan war doesn't feel as stressful as it does during Clan War League. And I don't want every single war all month long to feel the same level of stress and pressure of like, oh my God, is everybody going to attack? We need every attack in, otherwise we're probably going to lose the war. I'm happy with it the way it is right now, and I love that they added this boost.
Is there not a slight issue with the fact that you just said, oh yeah, that other clan was probably better than us, and yet we still drew? So surely, logically speaking, they should have won, and war should be balanced more fairly to allow them to have won.
No.
No?
Nope.
They were better, they would have won.
I know. I see people talking about it in the chat. Like, yeah, this. I don't know why this that change didn't make the patch notes. That's probably why creators didn't talk about it. This was like buried in a comment somewhere that we had to ask about. It came up in other conversations. Yeah, it's. I'm sure it's allowed to talk about. But at this point, I think it was honestly just like an oversight that oh hey, this small little change, someone forgot to put it in the list. It's really just that simple. Anyway, CWLs get 5 versus 5 wars. The way the bonuses work, this line threw a lot of people off because they said bigger wars get more bonuses, or bigger wars get bigger rewards. What I think was the line in the video. So as far as I can tell, because like I just said, the patch notes were sparse. That line refers only to CWL bonuses. So 5 versus 5 CWLs across most leagues. I don't know what leagues are the exceptions. I assume the higher ones. Most leagues, 5 versus 5 CWLs won't have any baseline bonuses. You only get the number of bonuses for every war you win. 15 versus 15 CWLs are unchanged. And 30 versus 30 CWLs, you will get double the amount of baseline bonuses to start with, plus bonuses from the wins. So if you run 30 versus 30 CWLs, you're going to have more bonuses to hand out at the end. If you do 5 versus 5s, it's not exploitable to get, so if you're running 5 versus 5s in Masters, you're going to need to win more than one war to be able to give everyone a bonus. So I think that's just mostly just about not making the bonuses exploitable. But the loot and the ore per attack, I think, are unchanged. I'm fairly sure.
Correct.
5 versus 5 CWLs, are you going to run any? Because I know you have enough accounts. Liam, you have enough accounts too.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to run them.
When I finally give up on interacting with the community and it becomes a personal hobby and I, quit the creator program, I will run 5v5 Clan War League by myself if I'm still playing the game and just hiding out in the corner somewhere. But otherwise, I like the camaraderie. I feel like this is awesome for teams. I hope, Mr. C, we're fortunate to have him in the clan, and I love that we are his home. But competitive clans that want to really challenge themselves and work with a team type of environment, I think this is a really cool option for those teams to be able to practice by themselves and really shine. I just don't see us wanting to use it at all, except for sometimes our overflow wars because of the number of people we have in the clan. It's like, oh, well, yeah, we've only got, we have 35 people that want to be in. Do we take 5 people and try to build them in as rotations inside rosters, or do we just say we'll do a 15, and a separate Clan War League spin of 5 people? I can see us using it in that instance, but aside from that, I don't find a lot of value to it.
My understanding is that this is aimed at there's a lot of clans. Somebody posted the stat on the subreddit the other day, and I forget the exact number, but it's some insane number of clans literally don't have 15 players in them. So this is more about providing a path into CWL for a lot more clans. So
surely most of his accounts are with relatively inactive. Accounts and clans are with relatively inactive players. I can just think of clans I've had with old school friends, which probably still have 7 people in that just don't play the game anymore. I mean, most of those clans have got to be fairly dead.
So say you have a clan of 50 super active, very awesome players, like you're going to be able to do a 30, a 15, and a 5. So if you want, you got to split up, but like maybe clans won't have to swap as much. But realistically, like the point of 5 versus 5s is that a lot more small clans now have access into CWL. Like that's the thing. There's a lot of updates that we talk about where like we always say like, cool, this one isn't for us. Like we're all in active big clans. This one's not for us. The ore exploits getting fixed. I don't know why they bothered at this point. Like
it to create the drama.
Yeah, the anger was
Fuel the flames of
decided.
Reddit.
we've kind of talked about it on multiple podcasts too, but like
Yeah, I can't be asked. Come on.
I wish they would have, if they wouldn't have said like, hey, we'll fix it, don't worry, and then tried and failed. It's just like I think they kind of forced themselves into having to do it when the easy, awesome solution from the start would have been just whatever. Cool, congrats, you guys got one over on us. Move on, like they've done with literally every single other previous exploit in the past. And no, I'm not saying that I didn't benefit. I didn't get any ore. I woke up after it had been fixed. Anyway, I know Liam's about to go bankrupt though, because he is a dirty cheater.
No, I didn't even know what was happening. I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is wrong. But I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't even know what was happening.
But this is wrong.
I didn't exploit it as much as other people did. So in my defense, I was innocent.
So you suck less.
You're never
Exactly.
going to be able to afford to upgrade the new heroes equipment.
Yeah, I'm trying to delay thinking of that.
I mean, that is hilarious to me.
How much negative ore are you on? Or
Right now,
will
0.
you be on?
I
Oh,
caught
right.
up all of it. I didn't, because as I said, I didn't exploit it as other people did. So I didn't even know I was exploiting it. I was just playing the game normally.
All right. Very, very quickly. I know we're going crazy long. Like, oh, by the way, Trample, do you have like a timeline you got to get out of here by?
I'm okay.
All right, cool. So briefly, I guess let's go over the Gold Pass. Prospector, any value do you see in the Prospector?
I don't think I will. I don't think I'll really use it. Most of my higher accounts, I might have 1 or 2 days that I swap for a little bit of starry ore, but for the most part, because I've been very fortunate in my life. If I need extra ore, I buy the event pass, and it usually keeps me up pretty much where I need to be. And for my lower accounts, I'm always short on shiny ore. So I don't know. I don't think I'd feel good about swapping some of my glowy or starry ore on those accounts. But even if I wanted to, I don't buy the gold pass on most of my lower accounts, so it's kind of locked behind a paywall to be able to get that benefit. So I don't see really much changing for me with the prospector, aside from getting to read a bunch of Reddit comments from people that are pissed off that it's, locked behind a paywall.
So, yeah, I mean, like, I don't care that it's locked behind a paywall. Honestly, like that's it. The whole Prospector doesn't bug me. Like on my new account, on my rushed account, I need all kinds of ore all the time, so I don't really know exactly when I would feel like converting. On my maxed account, if I'm capped on one ore, I'm not far off from capping the other 3. So maybe I would convert sometimes just to even out when I cap on all 3, but there's not really a benefit to that. So when a new epic releases, it costs 56,000 shiny to max it, and that's where you're limited. Otherwise, you can go straight to 27 on day 1. The amount of the prospector gives you doesn't move the needle one way or the other. The odds that I'm gonna ever need to convert ore lining up with the last 10 days of the month when we have the prospector make it even more useless. I'm not excited. Long term, they're going to watch how people use a prospector and make changes on it. So I'm not too worried about it. The stuff that did annoy me is like you still get 10% boost perk day 1. The 15% is kind of pushed back. You get it like day 7, and you get 20% on day 10. Those are the 15% moved almost a week. The 20% you unlock, I think, 2 days later. That's annoying. I wish they would change that.
I'm not
Ugh.
saying that everybody should boycott the new Gold Pass, and I know a lot of people have been, I've seen that on Reddit a lot. I did share my feedback candidly in the creator program, and I said, for me, I buy the Gold Pass, and it feels like a loyalty thing where every month I start out with that 10% boost already, and I don't have to do anything to jump through hoops to be able to activate it, right? I don't have to make an attack. I don't have to donate to anybody. I don't have to make a builder-based attack. I can just activate my Gold Pass, and because I get that bonus elixir to start the month, I'm immediately on a 10% discount. I start spending my loot, my season bank from the month before. I did tell them, I personally, like this is as a creator, I have an opinion about the effect on the game and how this will play out. As a player, I did say I'm not going to buy gold passes. I told them specifically, I as a player am not going to buy gold passes because to me, it's like it's the same reason why there's a few Discord servers that I support and I donate to their Patreon, and it's not because I feel like I get a disproportionate amount of value out of them. One of the servers I donate to, I literally did not look at it at all in the month of January, but it's something that like I have money that I'm willing to spend on the game because I want the game to stay healthy and I want it to stay around. But specifically, losing that value day one of now I have to jump through a couple of hoops before I can have some of my discounts. I said I will be voting with my wallet and I will not be buying gold passes. I normally buy between 5 and 7 every month for my own personal accounts. At most, I will buy one for a rushed account that I'm developing, just because I don't like how I now have to jump through more hoops to be able to experience the loyalty that I have always gotten as a part of my normal monthly gold pass purchasing.
The only thing that I care about is the delay of the perks. Like the rest, I'm fine with. I like the chests.
You like
I'm
the
okay.
chest?
Yeah. I mean, like yes. So I don't like chests in general. Um, this is kind of weird. Like I don't like the mechanic of loot boxes and chests. I am fine with them putting chests in the free pass. Like people love it. Like the kids love to fake gamble. That's been proven in every game that's ever tried it in the last 10 years. Children love to gamble. So yeah, like I'm not gonna morally grandstand and say, hey, you shouldn't have done it. They probably shouldn't have done they probably shouldn't have done it, but
Oh, it's just that gambling is addictive to all humans.
yeah, yes. Man, I've asked this so many times over the years. I wish they would explain the mechanics of the chests, because if people understood better how chests work, I think most people would be happy getting 11 more chests per month.
What do you think is confusing about how do people think chess work that isn't correct?
They repeatedly just say like, no, don't explain it. It's nothing crazy. It's just
There are a lot of different methodologies for how random allocation of
yeah,
prizes could
yeah,
work. The
yeah.
very, very precise methodology by which these random prizes are given away it is something that if people fully understood exactly how it worked, instead of just knowing that it is true, it is a form of random prize award. But the specific methodology that is employed with this random prizing is something that I think a lot of people would actually feel better about if they understood. There are pros and cons to all manner, and this is coming from my experience in the casino industry. We do a lot of stuff like kiosk games where we give away prizes, and there are lots of methodologies by which we can award prizes. I think generally speaking, most people in the community would focus on the positives of the exact methodology that we use because it is actually good for the players. But I know some people would focus on the downside because there are always trade-offs in any form of random assignation of prizes.
Sorry to
If we could
clarify, do
talk
you
about
guys
it,
know the methodology? And it's just not. I'm not asking you to tell us, obviously, but you guys know how it works, but we generally don't, right?
yes.
Regardless of how it works, you have 11 more chances at a legendary chest per month. Everyone, like whether you buy the pass or not. I think that is a net positive. It can kind of suck in some
Yeah.
cases. Like I have a rushed account. I liked having extra power potions and hero potions because my troops and my heroes are not upgraded. Even if you sold all those potions for gems, having chests instead of a guaranteed amount of gems can kind of suck. There was a floor. There was a minimum guaranteed value in the free pass with those guaranteed potions that were the same every month. Now there is no floor. You could get 11 completely useless things. In theory, you could get 11 common chests of builder gold that you're already maxed on and it just goes to waste. So like there is now no floor. There's no minimum expected value, but the ceiling is now much, much higher too. There was a guaranteed minimum, but it was also the maximum. And now you can get much better stuff, and you're going to get better stuff more frequently now just because you're getting more pulls at that slot machine handle. So I think it's a net positive. A lot of people have said they would rather have a choice between the old potion and a chest. Maybe, like, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but like also if they did that, if you showed me the stats, I would put money on 99% of people choosing the chest every single time. So I don't know if it would be worth their time to even bother.
I agree with that.
Also, just another massive perk of the Gold Pass too is have so many more choices. You get a choice of the skin. You get to choose between fighting and spell books. Like I sold almost every spell book, 10 months out of the year because spells come so rarely. I sold almost every single spell book I ever got. Now, I won't, I'll get up to 2 weeks of progress in the lab instead of 50 gems. Like I'll take that trade every time. Yeah, and you can choose between like builder runes and shovels. Like choices are awesome. Choices are always better. So like overall, whether you want to argue that the pass lost value because of the delay of the boosts, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good change overall. I don't know. Do you guys have any final hits on the Gold Pass before we go on to listener questions?
Mostly good overall for a lot of people, particularly in the Silver Pass. I like the chests. I actually think that's a better addition, but I don't like that I have to jump through hoops the first day before I can activate my 10%.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, cool. Liam, are you still around? Do you want to start us off with questions, or do I need to pull it up?
Yeah, I was gonna do some rapid fire because there's a lot of questions unless you wanna select. But yeah, first question from Click. Hey Trample, thanks for everything you're doing to spike interest in the esports community again. Will we be seeing your participation with any creator wars?
Or, I mean, if they ask me, I might be willing to jump in. I have been super busy out here in the real world, so it's limited my content creation, it's limited my gameplay. But if somebody specifically tried to get me into something, I'd probably be willing to jump back in.
All right, 22. I don't know how to say your name out loud. Like I was just LRT 22. Yeah, but you said I wonder if the delayed hero release is to make it not available while rewards from the Wise Warriors event are available. That's hard to say without because we can't really tell you when it's gonna be available, can we? So that's hard to know. But like screwing you over on some rewards, I wouldn't surprise me if that was part of the logic. Let's go. How many levels of the new hero are we gonna have? Can't tell you.
No one knows.
Like huge boost to leakers coming up because I guarantee they're gonna know.
It's more than one. It's less than 105.
Wow, can't believe you told us that.
There are limited royal titles for naming heroes. Can we expect names like Czar or the likes in the future, do you think?
I would have loved to see them take a chance to move away from everybody needing some kind of noble title, but I think they probably still have at least 8 or 9 more words they could throw in there for stuff before they finally get away from it and start just throwing in other generic adjectives.
Yeah, there's counts and barons, and Sam, you're the expert on weird titles.
I did just completely disconnect, so literally the only thing I've heard is I'm the expert on weird
Yeah,
titles. So
You're British.
you might have to
Explain
expand on
yourself,
that.
Sam.
I don't know. I think they're who knows what they do eventually. Like they can add lore. I don't know that they're forever locked in. There's no guarantee we ever get a 7th hero either. And who knows? But yeah, I would imagine they continue on with royal themed names.
Because even outside of titles themselves, you could even just say stuff like the majestic such and such and the noble whatever. Like it doesn't even have to be a specific title. It could just be a word that is basically describing something that is, royalty.
Eventually, they got to congressman. Hopefully. Why is the hero and troop AI acting wonky in Legend League? Healers get stuck on one thrower on my queen. Is it or my queen is focused on a wall when a building is closer?
Sorry, are we really answering?
AI has always been a thing that sometimes glitches, but generally speaking, I'm happy with battle progression.
They seem to be saying that AI is different in Legend Leagues compared to other leagues.
No.
But I'm like, I don't believe that.
Yeah, the issue is usually between the chair and the device.
Fair enough. Are we getting? Well, yeah, same question. When is the Trample Damage merch store opening?
Probably never. I tried opening one, and a couple
Well,
people ordered right away, and then the orders never came, and we had to threaten to sue the company to get our refund. So, and my son had been working on the, the merch store for me, but he's busy with college, and he's graduating in a few months and then starting a new job. So I don't know, probably never.
oh.
That's disappointing. But understandable. Do you find it disappointing that you just got 5,000 defense achievements and now they're reducing it by 4,500?
That's kind of funny. I thought about that the other day. I'm happy that I finally hit that on at least one of my accounts before them making the change down to 500, which I love that they changed to 500 because a lot of people, that's the one accomplishment they would probably never wind up being able to hit. But I'm glad that I can say I did it before it hit the 500. Plus, it'll probably show the stat on there, right? Like when we pass gold, you know.
Hopefully, yeah. Was there any discussion on doing a 10v10 CWL instead of the 5v5?
We didn't see discussion on it. It was just they said, hey, we're doing this.
It's not like, hey, more options for bigger clans. It's just giving small clans the option to start participating is what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you have in mind for a new recording studio after the wreckage of the previous one? And is this the reason for the delay in the next episode?
I am currently driving the car that I had before my daughter wrecked her car in October of 24. It's a Corolla hatchback. I will be driving that until they get me a new one in. I'm ordering one from the dealership that I unfortunately buy too many cars from, but it'll be probably 8 to 10 weeks until that comes in. I'll just go back to recording in my daughter's car for now.
Nice. Look forward to it. And yeah, shout out to Trample's podcast as well while we're at it.
How do you feel about no supercharges coming on the defenses?
I like it. I think that's how it should go. So you've said it countless times on episodes of RTC. It is something that should come out and then later be used toward the back end to hone balancing and to fill more dead times. So I think this is the right way to approach it.
The one downside, I still think I think it's the right call before I get into this. I think the one downside is that like it hurts the fancy shop it not having those. So I don't know what long-term plans they have for fancy shop and introducing stuff. We got our first new addition to it this update, the little builder statue that's going to be 500. So if we're not getting consistent supercharges, I don't know if that's going to have to shift prices or plans in the fancy shop. They can figure it out because I don't think we need supercharges. They want everything. All right. Next. Let me look. How's your creator luck with the chests? Like I've never experienced creator luck. Do you think? Do you think you have?
No, I feel like the only thing I notice is it, there's always the observation bias where I notice, oh, I just got 3 legendaries in the last, X amount of time. It's the same thing that Liam would deal with where I have tons of accounts, and if I ever just go through and open a whole bunch of chests, I jam right through all the stupid blow. Oh, it's a little bit of loot. Oh, it's a resource potion. Oh, it's something terrible. And we don't pay attention to those. We only notice the cool stuff or the good stuff. Or we notice the stuff where it's like, you got a legendary clan castle part, or that type of stuff. So I think it's just the observation bias of having opened a couple things. And we get to experience that more often if we have more accounts. That's not limited to being a creator thing. That's Liam has more accounts than I do. And if he opens a whole bunch in a row, he'll have a memory of, in the last 10 minutes, I opened up 5 legendaries because he opened up chests on, 200 accounts.
Yeah, I always thought I was just really lucky, but yeah, that's probably more.
Okay. Storm said, are they specifically targeting chests or is it completely random? Like people have never bought a skin are more likely to get skins. Just curious. So like all the stats and stuff are published. You can go look up like the percentages of rarity. Like if you have a skin that is removed from the pool of like options, it like within each rarity of chest are like you can also see the specific odds of getting each type of reward. So like if you have all the skins, obviously you're never going to draw a skin.
Right. That's the way. I think that's the example to use there. Like if they pretend that they created a new super ultimate level that's above legendary, and the only thing you can get in there is equipment and skins. If you have every piece of equipment, and let's just say it was a 50-50 shot at getting a skin or an equipment, and that's the top piece of the random bracket. So it goes, oh, flips a coin, hey, you get a skin. Now let's pull up all the skins you currently don't have, and you'll get one of those randomly. So if you have all of the equipment, that first step, instead of being 50% chance at equipment, 50% chance at a skin, it would instead say, oh, it's 100% chance at a skin because none of the equipment is an option. But if there's one piece of equipment that you're missing, there's a 50% chance you'll get a skin, a 50% chance you'll get equipment, and if you get equipment, there's a 100% chance you'll get the one that you are missing. So it takes into consideration downstream logic such that at that second step, if you cannot get any of that stuff, it just removes that from the initial potential prize pool. But otherwise, everything is totally and completely random, regardless of what you spend on the game, how often you log in, if you're a creator, if you're not a creator, what your town hall is. Everything within each town hall's bracket of percentage, that's all the same for everybody. It's just that it will potentially change over time for something like skins or equipment if you have all of them.
That kind of thing, I don't believe they'd be able to hide, because you get into like regulatory issues as well, because like I'm not an expert, so maybe I'm talking on my ass, but like these the stats on what's available, the percentages do have to be published in, I want to say the EU is a little more strict than anywhere else. I don't know if the US has any rules about it, but like that's one of the things that is always like coming down the pipe when you look at like gaming news. So they try and be as open and transparent as they can about that, while still maintaining some illusion of magic and excitement for it. Yeah, which is why we don't 100% know everything about chess. But all right, that's gonna do it. We talked an hour and a half, which is pretty good for a Trample episode, I think. Thank you so much for joining us. If you guys want to support Trample, I'm going to have all of his channels and socials linked in the description of the episode. Oh crap, I forgot to do a giveaway. Also, download this episode when it comes out, and there will be details of a giveaway. I'm going to give away a scenery and the entire skin set for this month. It's going to be a good. Thanks for listening to the whole thing. Like the metrics that we show people drop off right now, but all you guys hanging out, yeah, you get better odds. Yeah, check the show notes for the giveaway. It's gonna be like, yeah, I'll figure it out. It'll be easy. And the funny thing is, like, every time I do this, like, I gave away 5 gold passes an episode or two ago, and I had a choice between like 8 people to give away 5 passes. So it is worth your time to do this. I promise you. You have the best odds of any creator giveaway in the entire Supercell universe. So check the show notes. I'll have brief details of how to do it there. But anyway, use code Trample. There's an update coming. There's always gonna be packs. Type in code Trample. Support our awesome guest right here. And that's gonna do it. We will see you in a couple weeks.
And if you don't use code Trample, use a creator code no matter what if you're buying stuff in game, because revenue has been down for most of the creators. And because you can tell that, you can just see views on Clash stuff is down. So every dollar that you spend on the game, if you are watching somebody's YouTube videos, if you are anything, it just throw it in there. It helps them out. It keeps them going, and it helps keep the game stronger. So even if you don't use my code, use somebody's code if you're watching anybody's content. It is definitely a good thing to do.
Yeah, check out all the other Clash podcasts. BD Legends started one. Clash Creators podcast. You can check that out. They have 1 episode out now. Listen to Scotty's podcast, the original Clash Clans podcast, just the Clash Clans podcast when you search for it. Kat and T are recording today, I believe, with Smitty. Spoiler alert, if anyone, sorry, but Smitty, new content creator. Really look forward to hearing a lot of his opinions, and check out his channels and stuff too. Everyone else, you guys are awesome. We will catch you around. C-Note, you owe us an episode soon. The Clash Tours podcast. I've seen him around. All right. But yeah, love you guys. Thanks for all the support.
Thank you for listening. Thank you, Trample.
Yep. Take it easy. Bye.